Is training barefoot the secret to unlocking your athletic success? We're gonna find out, and we're gonna start right now. Can barefoot work actually be used in competition and in performance? So first, we have to acknowledge that if you're in MMA, if you're in the UFC, if you're a combat athlete, you're going to be fighting barefoot. So a lot of your training should actually be done barefoot. But again, going back to actual performance, we can look at examples of Abebe Bikila. He won the marathon in the 1960 Olympics, and the reason why he won that marathon was he ran it barefoot only because his shoes that he was training with were too small, and he wasn't used to training with those smaller shoes that he was working with the marathon, and he had to take his shoes off because they were causing tons of blisters. And in turn, he went on to win the Olympics in the marathon. Another example is Tony Franklin. He was a barefoot kicker in the NFL. So the NFL had this little stint, and I believe Mark Rober even had a little series on barefoot kickers where they went into detail as to why these guys were kicking barefoot. So you can use it in performance. And again, if you're in a sport like MMA, you probably should mainly be training barefoot. What are reasons to train barefoot? First, that reason is ideally you can get rid of a sweet sock tan. That second big reason, and you can see this all throughout the book, Born to Run, where the author discusses how it can improve their strength while they're running, it can improve their stride frequency, and it can improve their ankle health, and even their ability to traverse hard terrain. So those are some key examples. Another example is that it can improve grounding or earthing. And these are concepts that are a little bit out there. David Avocado Wolf talks quite a bit about this, as does the Liver King. But most importantly, I think that your foot and your ankle get stronger from barefoot training. And in turn, when you put those shoes on and you actually have to perform or you actually have to compete, it leads to greater stiffness throughout the ankle joint. If your ankle's a little bit stiffer, meaning it can absorb and use more elastic energy, then in turn, your muscles can use that elastic energy to have more bounce. Training barefoot can help with greater proprioception. It can lead to more foot strength, more coordination in your toes. If your toes are more coordinated, you're gonna be a little bit more aware. You're gonna have a heightened sense of awareness when you're training. And also, one of those asides is that when I grew up, all the badass farmers in our area would just walk around barefoot all day, walking through turkey poop and walking through cow manure, and they were always barefoot. And they're these huge, hulking Pennsylvania Dutch dudes that didn't care, and they never had back problems. They never had posture issues because they were constantly connected to the planet. So what are some of the specific positives that barefoot training can lead to? I think even using toe socks can actually lead to a positive performance in your foot strength. And that's the first thing that we have to understand is there's actually research that has shown that sprinters that have a more active big toe actually run faster. So if you have a little bit more activity in your big toe, typically you have greater proprioception there, which in turn leads to better balance and in turn can lead to better posture. And that's something that Dr. Patrick McKeon has found at Ithaca College is that barefoot training can lead to better mobility and better structural integrity in the ankle throughout the foot. That leads to better power output. It can lead to better posture. And even in older populations, that can in turn lead to better proprioception, which can prevent falls. So there's a lot of different benefits that you can get from working barefoot. So what are the best times for barefoot-based training? First, I always recommend if you're around the house, you're walking around the house, you should be barefoot. Spend 10 to 15 to 20 minutes a day walking around the backyard, walking down the sidewalk even. You can do this in bare feet, and it's a great way to try and play around and feel those toes do what they're supposed to be doing. We should also be training barefoot or walking around barefoot when we're warming up. That can lead to greater focus and greater balance and greater stability. And now you can start to feel the ground come up through your entire body, and that leads to better posture like we mentioned prior. And in some cases, I even recommend warming up with things like squats barefoot because it carries over really well to balance. So doing a single leg squat as you warm up barefoot will help you have better stability when the shoes come on. And even warming up with bilateral movements like back squat, you can go a couple lighter sets like 30%, 40%, 50% with bare feet. And then as you put your shoes on, you have better mobility, better proprioception, and ideally that's gonna lead to better performance. So this can lead to better connection to the ground. However, if you don't have your shoes on, you're going to lose a larger ground contact area, and you're going to be a little bit less stable, and in turn, that might have a negative impact on your performance in that specific sprint. So walking barefoot can actually even help your gait. It can help you improve your position of your foot. For instance, I'm extremely duck-footed. Everything I do, I'm out here. One thing I've been wondering is, should I try to improve my gait? Comment down below if I should experiment with fixing my duck-footed walk. So now I'm gonna give you that applied warm-up and accessories that you can use when you're training barefoot. Okay, so of course, the first exercise that we're gonna do barefoot has to be PVC pipe walks. So this is when you can really start to see and feel your toes move and try and even grab that PVC when you bring that back. And if you need a PVC pipe, head over to garagestrength.com and you can pick up our own PVC pipe that we built just to help your foot strength. Then the next thing that we're gonna get into is gonna be toe walks, okay? Barefoot toe walks, trying to even grab a little bit, and you can go forward and backwards, and then heel walks, okay? So heel walks here, forward, backward, that's gonna help your tibialis, and then we can go here, up, where we go through a little bit of a roll, here, up. And these are great warm-ups that you can use to really start to feel that ground contact and the overall proprioception that your feet can provide. So another great way is just doing light goblet squats barefoot, trying to even pull the heel out a little bit as you get into the bottom to feel good tension through your glutes. It's gonna help your mobility, okay? Maybe you do 4 or 5 reps, put that down, and then you can go right into bunny hops. So bunny hops where you try to avoid that heel grounding, but really you're focusing on trying to be as springy as possible. So just here. So superset goblet squats with those bunny hops barefoot for a really good warm up. Okay, another really good way that you can go barefoot is to do a split squat where your heel is unsupported. So you'll go here, okay, heel up, drive that back knee down, and you'll feel a little bit of tightness in your hip here. And you gotta really focus on good stability. So you can go 3 to 5, let's say, on each foot, okay? And try to take note of which heel is a little bit weaker or which ankle is a little bit weaker. Oh, my balance. So you get a couple sets in here. And then another real simple cue that I've taken from the distance running world is that you can actually do easy distance work. You can do easy LSD endurance work. So distance runners might get done with their more high intensity work, and then they might spend another 15 to 20 minutes just doing field crosses on the grass, jogging to improve their overall foot strength and hopefully alleviate any of those shin splints. So another way that you can help improve your foot strength from barefoot training is something that I stole directly from the endurance world by doing LSD work or basic low intensity endurance work, okay? So if we have distance runners, they might be out and they might do some of their intense work. They might do 1 mile repeats or anything along those lines, but then they'll finish with a 15 to 20 minute period where they're just doing X's across the field. They're going forward, backward. They're doing simple endurance work that's gonna help increase their foot strength, the strength and stability in their ankle, and hopefully alleviate any potential issues regarding stress fractures and shin splints. So lower intensity hurdle hops, lower intensity plyometrics, again, can lead to greater proprioception and greater joint stiffness. And if you're in a sport like MMA, doing mini hurdle hops, doing PVC pipe walks, doing things barefooted all the time will lead to better reactive ability. And if you want to become a reactive freak, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so that you can keep being a freak by subscribing to our channel. So we provided historical context behind barefoot training and barefoot performance. We even discussed what it can prove and how you can take that and then apply it directly into your own training. We provided sample warm-ups and sample exercises that you can add to your training directly today. And if you need help with a bodyweight training program, click on the link down below, head over to garagestrength.com, and you can pick up one of our bodyweight programs to help you with your barefoot training. And if you want more information, follow our new channel, Peak Strength, or listen to our podcast, Masters of Sport. That's also on YouTube and across all podcasting platforms. Remember, if you want to be a freak, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.